Am I the butthole for making my wife choose between me and her best friend? I'm male, 36 am. I preparing for my upcoming surgery at the end of May. I have respiratory condition that I have been suffering from, and my wife has been very supportive and accommodating of all my needs. She has endured so much by shouldering this burden with me, and I can never describe how much supportive she's been with everything that has been going on with me. The problem is that her best friend's wedding is at the end of May, specifically on the 27th, and my surgery takes place the exact same date. Now 27th was not the original date of her friend's wedding. It was supposed to be on May 18th but got changed. Her friend informed us about it on short notice. And my wife wanted to go, but it's a 8-hour trip since the wedding will be held in the groom's hometown. My wife and I discussed this, and I bluntly told her I needed her there for my surgery. She told me that that's her best friend and this will hopefully be her only wedding, and she wanted to attend. She asked if I could get a friend as my support, but I just didn't think this was right. I was even puzzled that she asked me to get a substitute while she goes to her friend's wedding. I asked if her friend's wedding was more important than my health. She argued that there was nothing wrong with it and I won't need her since the medical team will take care of me. Then she said that by refusing I was making her choose between me and her best friend. We went back and forth on this argument, and she insisted she wants to attend her friend's wedding. I told her she was being unreasonable and I never expected her to prioritize a wedding over my health. She loudly yelled, "What do you want me to do? I might lose my friend over this, then stop talking to me." I think I handled this badly and acted in an ungrateful manner, but I think she's the one who doesn't understand the difference since my surgery is an emergency, and if her best friend is a good friend then she'd understand, right? So am I wrong for what I said? Not the butthole. In sickness and in health does not have a temporary suspension due to best friend, forever's wedding clause. This needs to be at the top. It's an emergency surgery, your life depends on it. If your wife would rather be at a friend's wedding after that friend changed the date last minute, geez. I'm sorry. Even if she's been supportive in the past, I cannot imagine being that heartless towards my spouse. Edit. Original poster said emergency in a comment, then he changed it to life-saving, now it's gone. Who knows what's actually going on here? And literally any time you go under anesthesia, there's a decent amount of risk. How in the world can original poster's wife even consider not being there in case of life-threatening emergency? She wants a friend to make medical decisions, which requires documentation since not next of kin? Or decisions need to wait until staff can get a hold of her, potentially in the middle of a ceremony? I just can't even wrap my mind around not being there for a partner's surgery. Original poster, not the butthole, and please bring these things up with your wife. And I don't mean to scare you, because most of the time, people are fine, but reactions happen, so it's important to be prepared for that. I didn't see where original poster says it's an emergency surgery and his life depends on it. Did I miss that, or is it in the comments? Edit. Yep. I missed the emergency part, laughing out loud, but I'm unclear if it's an emergency or he's just classifying it as such. Typically emergency surgery won't be scheduled so far in advance. I don't know, there's just something about this post that makes me suspicious. Emergency seems to be a stretch if the surgery is scheduled 2 weeks out. I disagree. This is a tough one, but I think it's nah. Original poster's wife has been there throughout this entire ordeal, and there is no question it has taken a huge toll on her, on top of all the other things going on, per original poster, family member passing away, etc. Both original poster and his wife are going through some really tough times, and everyone has their limits. You cannot reasonably call original poster or his wife an butthole in this situation. Original poster's wife has already sacrificed so much for her spouse. All of that doesn't suddenly become nil because she wants to attend her best friend's wedding. While original poster is correct in that if the friend doesn't understand her absence she'd be TA, to me it seems like original poster's wife just wants to attend the wedding, for a variety of reasons. I guess the question is, when does it end? It ends at some point after the day your spouse is having major surgery. Full stop. Yes, she is likely experiencing caregiver burnout, and that should and can be addressed by hiring a maid, signing up for a grocery delivery service, inquiring about in-home nursing help, having a professional caregiver stop by weekly, planning one night per week she can go out with friends, etc. However, Those day-to-day issues are completely separate from abandoning your spouse on the day they are having major surgery. As a spouse, you are absolutely a major if you do that. He will be unconscious and she will be 8 hours away attending an event that requires people to silence their cell phones for at least an hour or two. As his spouse, she is his medical power of attorney. If something goes wrong and the doctors need her permission for something, she will be likely unreachable and 8 hours away. All surgery is risky. He could very well die on the table. She needs to be there, period. Once he's home from the hospital, at that point they can discuss the options above, but you absolutely cannot abandon your spouse on the day they go under the knife just because your friend is getting married. I'm going to say nah because you're totally reasonable for wanting her there and she's also reasonable for not wanting to miss a once-in-a-lifetime event for her best friend. It also sounds like she's experiencing some caregiver fatigue. Has she had to give up other things to care for you? Spending time with friends, going on trips, etc. If so, she might be feeling a little burnt out and like she really needs to do something for herself, and if that's so, I think if you at least try to arrange to have someone else to support you for your surgery, that will go a long way. For a lot of caregivers, the constant stress of having to put their own needs second can be really draining. Also, with constant hospitalizations, people get numb to them. When everything is this life or death health situation, the big surgeries don't seem that big anymore. It's a way to cope. Completely true. My sister has been chronically ill since birth, so we were constantly in and out of various hospitals/facilities, and it got to a point after years and years that I was like, oh, she's going to hospital again. Alright, let me know if she dies. Didn't mean that I don't love her or that I wished harm on her. Just that the fatigue was wild, and tragic events that were once in a lifetime for many people were every Saturday where I grew up. I feel for original poster's wife. If she is caregiver fatigued, she should get some therapy for it. It can really help. This here. There is nothing original poster's wife can do during the surgery but wait. She might not even be allowed to wait at the hospital, but wait at home. If original poster dies, the hospital will call the wife. Not much difference if they call her at home or call her at her friend's wedding. Would it be nice if original poster could see his wife's face when he wakes up from surgery? Yes. But there's nothing she can do for him post-surgery. A friend being there immediately after for moral support is sufficient. Especially since wife is currently taking care of original poster and will be taking care of original poster post-surgery. She deserves a break to be with her best friend on her big day. I think original poster is being selfish here. Thank you for that realistic point of view. I feel like everyone jumping to this weird poetic ideal of the spouse waiting with bated breath is so narrow-minded. What is this, Gilead, where spouses have no individual lives of their own? Is the wife supposed to keep a vigil? Most hospitals have super strict visitor policies, so would most likely be at home anyway. My husband has not been able to attend any ultrasounds for our baby the entire time. If it's actual major surgery, he should be in the hospital for aftercare and she'd still be at home. Original poster mentioned no prognosis. If it's actually routine, I and both of my ailing parents had surgery and went home the day of, then risks don't sound that high. Or maybe because I live in a family of medical professionals and surgery isn't always life-threatening, since this guy isn't currently inpatient and it was scheduled months in advance instead of the 2-week minimum to handle COVID/anesthesia panels, etc. I think the problem here is expectation versus reality. The way the original poster emits information like that makes me think he's blowing the surgical risks out of proportion and not feeling like compromising for wife to attend the wedding. You're the butthole. You're the butthole. Since this seems like an inpatient surgery, you're asking your wife to miss a wedding so she can sit in the waiting room of the hospital. She can't perform the surgery. All she can do is sit and wait. When my best friend needed surgery, she asked me to take her spouse out of the hospital because she didn't want him there. You start out by saying how supportive your wife has been, so the fact that she wants to go to the wedding suggests that she doesn't feel she needs to be at your surgery. The fact that you're insisting she's there when she's not needed suggests that maybe she's more supportive of you than you are of her. Given how hospitals I have jumped into the 21st century with technology and allowed people to be present even if they are remote, there's nothing your wife can't do from a distance. You mentioned how giving your wife is, maybe you should give something back to her and not make her miss her best friend's wedding. All surgeries have risks, Even simple or routine ones. Heck, my nephew almost died of a tonsillectomy. In the event something goes wrong, the wife needs to be there to make medical decisions. A friend cannot legally do this. I couldn't imagine not being there, let alone being 8 hours away, if my husband had surgery, and my best friend, forever, would absolutely understand if I missed her wedding for it. Not the butthole. Exactly. My wife had a simple half-hour surgery, ended up having an allergic reaction to some surgical dye and almost died. 30 minutes became 3 hours, and she was in a terrible state when she came to in recovery. I can't imagine how she would have felt if I wasn't there. Info: have you considered couples counseling? It sounds like your wife might be suffering from caregiver burnout and harboring some resentment. Original poster replies: couples counseling? No, I haven't. There has been so much going on lately. Original poster replies: a family member's passing, her mom moving away, my medical condition and so on might have taken a toll on us, and we got constantly busy with more problems coming our way. I don't know about caregiver burnout, I mean, she never really spoke to me about it. I don't know about caregiver burnout, I mean, she never really spoke to me about it. You might not mean it this way, but this comment sounds really dismissive of your wife's needs and the impact this is having on her. The fact that you never asked or thought about this burnout is a bit self-centered. And even in this, you're putting the onus on your wife to manage it. It sounds like she's trying her darndest to look out for you, but you haven't extended her the same consideration. I sense you're going through a lot, but gosh, I can only imagine her isolation. This is exactly what I was thinking. His comment honestly is pushing me towards a soft you're the butthole, because it feels like he clearly sees that she has been supportive but is not considering the actual toll it could possibly be taking on her. And I doubt she'd want to burden him with the thought that she was perhaps burning out. Would she be able to talk to you about caregiver fatigue? It's a hard subject to bring up to the person needing the caregiving. A lot of caregivers either don't realize they are experiencing it or feel so guilty they can't confront it. Soft you're the butthole, but you're the butthole. She's been supportive, you said as much, so it isn't as if she just doesn't care, and you will be in surgery, meaning that she'll miss her friend's wedding to wait in the waiting room. Now this is under the assumption that she'll be coming back the next morning, since it's an 8-hour drive, and not spending several days there, because that might change things. Because she's been so supportive and because she seems afraid that if she misses the wedding she'll lose her friend, I'm wondering if she's been neglecting her friendship to be there for you. Either way, it sounds like she truly feels she cannot miss this wedding, and, judging by her otherwise support, it is a really big deal to her and or her best friend. Edit: also, if she's been supporting you for however long, it's completely possible she is burnt out and needs this. If she loses the friend over missing the wedding to be there while her husband undergoes a major surgery, then it wasn't a very good friendship. Especially since this wasn't even supposed to be the original wedding date. I'm not sure exactly what type of lung surgery he's undergoing, but any number of complications could arise, and she wants to be out enjoying herself at a wedding? Not the butthole. Info: is there any way that you can move this? I would never normally ask this, but truly, it sounds like your wife is burnt out and at the end of her rope. You say that she is kind and has supported you fully, so this is out of character for her, which probably means that she just needs a moment to be herself, to enjoy life and not feel like her role is a caregiver wife. I completely understand how you feel, but if you read the stories of caregivers' fatigue, you hear them talking about making irrational decisions just so they can be free of the responsibilities. If you have a family member that can attend, I would ask them to attend. Give her that gift of her boyfriend's wedding, if the entire time she has been there for you. You are wrapped up in you and you are expecting her to be wrapped up in you and your health. But when was the last time she got to just worry about herself and not put you first? This is terrible timing, but she probably has been holding on to her boyfriend's wedding as a moment for herself, and the fact that she may not be able to go is just one straw too much. I think your wife is going through it, and honestly, I think if you push and force her to attend your surgery, this may be something that she holds against you for a while. Yes, sickness and health, but what about your wife's mental health? Now of course you want your wife there, that's understandable. But I'm the primary caregiver for my medically complex child, so I'm very familiar with caregiver burnout. And you really need to try to see her side of this, especially given the fact she has been a devoted caregiver up to this point. I'm going to bet that between COVID and your lung condition, she hasn't been able to go out and do much of anything for respite, and she is now vaccinated and was really looking forward to this wedding. I can't say what the solution is, but I don't think she's a horrible person for wanting to go. It's not an indication of her love for you. She just needs a break. Wow, people are actually believing Original Poster is a butthole for wanting his wife to support him when he's having surgery. Original Poster, you are not the butthole if your wife believes because she's not performing the surgery she doesn't need to be there for emotional support. You should really inform her you don't agree with this decision. Because she is obviously choosing her friend over you. It's times like these I remember how young the typical Reddit user is. Info: is the surgery an emergency or an elective surgery that wouldn't impact your health if it was rescheduled by a week? I've had 9 surgeries over the last year and I tell my husband not to sit at the hospital waiting for me to go through pre-Original Poster, then in one case 11 hours of surgery, then post-Original Poster recovery. It's not like he'll be aware Hess even there. Let him arrive after I'm in my room and awake. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.